Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Jug Show. So, today's episode, we're looking at Storm 7 Serpents, Salamanders, and Storm Gods. So, we're starting with the Silver Surfer getting Surtur's Twilight Sword. I'll stop now. Oh, wait, hang on. Silver Surfer Soot. I don't know what the hell Morewa was thinking with all the just starting it off like that with all those S's, and we actually even have a big snake in it. The guy's got a sense of humor. Anyway, this is an epic comic. I don't even think I've actually read it enough to really crack down what is actually inside it. Like, I feel like you have to read this like 10 times in order to really get every last little piece that Morewa is trying to put forward. So, like I said, we're starting off with the Silver Surfer. He's going to be making 2 appearances. So, you got the upcoming Silver Surfer in his Death of the Silver Surfer comic book, and also we have the upcoming Imperial by Jonathan Hickman, which is going to be massively cosmic. So, this could actually end up being a precursor to that. Like, we already know that Morewa has his own plans for Galactus and Silver Surfer, and judging from the fact that we have the Black Winter here, this could easily just be part of his own story with Storm, but it would make a lot of sense to connect what's happening here with Silver Surfer's upcoming stories. Especially the fact that to get the sword, the Twilight Sword, he had to beat Beta Ray Bill, because he was the current owner after his own solo, I think it was about a year or 2 ago, as well as what looks like he just defeated the Cosmic Ghost Rider. So yeah, let's face it, Norton Rad is not a slouch. You fuck around, you find out when it comes to him. So, with the beginning, focusing on the Silver Surfer, becoming the Silver Surfer Soot? Yeah, Silver Surfer Soot. Why? You know he was having fun with that. So now with this added power, along with the power cosmic, he dons a more, let's call it a more menacing look. Now with a more outward skeletal look, along with his chrome dome, as you will. So we're doing a bit of a darker Silver Surfer, and it looks like that Galactus is being consumed by the Black Winter. If you don't know what the Black Winter is, this made its first appearance in Donny Cates' Thor, very early in the series. Black Winter is Galactus to a Galactus. So he's a massive consumer, and now we're building upon its lore, saying as though it's an agent of Oblivion. This is a representative of Oblivion, so it's going to consume, it's going to destroy. So this is definitely going to be playing a big part. And from the looks of things, I'm going to take a guess. I think that Oblivion and the Black Winter is transforming Galactus into something. I don't know if that's good or it's bad. It's probably bad, because let's face it, I think, like how Eternity's playing dirty now, he's trying to make Storm his avatar. He's trying to do all yeah, like how it feels like he's prepping for the fight. Now it looks like that's what Oblivion's doing. Oblivion has beaten Eternity 12 times. So now, but this time, everything's on the line. It's not just a win or lose situation. If he loses, he doesn't just get what he wants. He's going to be destroyed. He's going to be reduced to an atom. So he can't afford to lose. So it looks like that both he and Eternity, they're going to be playing for keeps. So they're going to start playing dirty. They're both getting ready. And we're going to see what happens. So this is an epic intro. And it doesn't even have anything to do with Storm or with the comic. It just feels so random. But somehow you just know it's going to build to something. The artwork is absolutely stellar. The fact is, when it comes to I'm not sure how to pronounce his name without butchering it. Luciano. Yeah. Okay, look, Vecchio. Just Vecchio. the thing about his artwork, he's definitely one of the better artists when it comes to like splash pages. You want to put something on display, you get Vachir. I mean, we saw it in this, we saw it in Resurrection of Magneto with Tarn. The artwork is stellar. Honestly, sometimes some of his character stuff does leave a little to be desired, but his mass, he can make things feel big. So we don't know what's happening with Galactus. We don't know what's happening here. You see, so Morewa is either setting something up for the future of his book or the other books that are coming. And it also can still all just be connected. I'm very looking forward to seeing what's here. I'm also very curious to what has actually Galactus and Silver Surfer been up to. The last time we saw these two, they were prepared. They were taking off at the end of Fantastic Four, and they were going to explore the Borderlands. So this might be just something that they stumbled upon that they weren't supposed to. So who knows what's going to happen? Looking forward to that. But on to the full-on Storm story. So if you're not aware, this year, this issue is a celebration of Storm's 50th anniversary after appearing in Giant Size X-Men #1 alongside Banshee, Wolverine, Proudstar, and Colossus. The big debut of the second team. Technically third, but we all know how that went for those guys. But anyway, let's just talk about Charles's failures another time, shall we? So, with the comic, part of me did feel like it's not told in order. And sometimes that can throw me. Like, I've had those books before, both comics, TV series, and that threw me a little bit, and it's just out of order. I mean, I watched the first season of The Witcher. I had no idea what the hell was happening there. So we're just starting with her. It just seems simple. She and Maggot, they're hunting the giant snake. So following it just seems like a regular mission, regular day in the life of a superhero. She's been tasked by Tony to track this snake because it's been not infected, infused with a super soldier serum. So I was actually chatting about this with somebody because they asked, why would the Avengers of all people be after the super soldier serum? Because they know how dangerous that can actually get. And this might actually connect to One World Under Doom because he says he's teamed up with some mad scientists, and and we know that they're teaming up with like Doctor Octopus, MODOK, what's his name, Arcade. So they might be trying to use the Super Soldier Serum for something in One World Under Doom, like somehow a counterattack. I have no idea how that's going to work. So I guess I'm just going to have to read that comic when it comes out in a few weeks. So, like I said, the things that actually make this book a little bit more impressive is more of its subtleties. Like, personally, I've never met, like, while I've liked looking at, like, the bigger displays of power, I've always found the more impressive stuff, the more subtle aspects of a person's, like, an individual's powers. So the fact we have Storm using her sensory abilities, like picking up on people's breath, knowing where people are through their heartbeats, through just feeling them in the air, I felt that was very impressive. That's always very fun to look at. So that's one of the reasons why I think this is definitely very good for the fact that it's her anniversary. We're really putting on display exactly what this woman can actually do. Her skills, her strengths, not even just how powerful she is, but how skilled she is. They put her on the forefront because they know they can actually handle the job. So we got the Iron Man scene here. I don't know why he's in the Silver Centurion suit. Probably needs something for speed. But we're also kind of not developing the relationship, really putting forward the relationship between Tony and Storm. It's not they don't like each other. No, that's not how it works. Storm doesn't like Spider-Man. When it comes to Tony, it's kind of like they tolerate each other. They trade jabs in a way. Like they're the opposite personality, so their interactions always end up being very fun. They're always just catty at each other. But what's really good is that it actually also brings up the previous times they interacted from the very first issue of Storm. They're talking about the explosion, the very first issue. Like, because in the first issue they did have an interaction with Tony confirming how that was the fact that it was the young mutant that caused a massive radiation explosion. So that's being brought up, and it's kind of getting Tony thinking if he can actually trust her with secrets, that type of scenario. Because Storm doesn't like secrets. She'll tell people things that they feel like they need to know, especially when it comes to being honest. So he's trying to trust her, but he does have a bit of a silly threat. I mean, just exposing search histories. I mean, what could possibly be on Storm's search history? I doubt there would be anything incriminating. Unless, I mean, it's the quiet ones you got to watch out for. So, we got our setup. But what's really good about the fact they're interacting about what happened in number one, we have to remember a few things here. We still don't know what exactly that giant mech was. We don't know where it came from. Or anything. And it appeared during the manhunt stuff. And it was able to be utilized. But we still don't know its origins. Marewa has set up a lot of things. I think if you actually reread some of Storm's stuff, there might be things you realize that might actually be important plot points. That's always very clever. Marewa is very good at being subtle here. He knows what he's doing. He's setting up stuff. He's giving us little teasers, but then he's shifting the story onto something else. But I believe he does have every intention on going back to those plot points. It's kind of like reading One Piece. So that's what I'm hoping for. Because I love One Piece. So we have the mission. We're heading to Brazil. And there's the weather phenomenon. Of course there's a weather phenomenon. Who else are we going to get for dealing with weather phenomenon? We're not going to get Wolverine to deal with weather phenomenon, so of course we're going to get Storm to help deal with weather phenomenon. This is where it really, really gets cool. And not just because of this scene where it has T'Challa, Reed, and Iron Man teaming up trying to protect people from these lightning storms. I'm still very impressed about the fact that Marewa had Reed absolutely tank a lightning bolt. So, when they get to Brazil, this is where the action really, really starts. So, even though they were after the snake because of the fact that it has a super soldier serum, what is with all the bloody S's? Okay, I really think I just noticed. I really feel like Marewa intentionally put in a lot of things with S's in it, intentionally in this comic. I can't. It's there's too many S's. Like, so many S's are very noticeable. I don't know. I mean, why else would he use the Silver Centurion armor on the Storm Sanctuary? Beret was trying to be funny. He's messing with me, man. Anyway, so the action really starts picking up. Starting with the fact that we're going to start front with the frying of the snake. Nothing really too impressive there. He just gets zapped with a bolt of lightning. So, and here is where the Thunder Wars begins. Okay, so we have Mamaragan and his Australian Itlia. And so these are these guys are of Indigenous Australian, not descent, they're part of the Indigenous Australian pantheon amongst the spirits and gods. And then we're also got, Sango is of the Yoruba pantheon, like the rest of them. He's a thunder, lightning, he's a storm god. Apparently, he also has justice in there, so that's actually going to be quite interesting. See, I don't really know much about the actual gods. I mean, hell, when it comes to Susanoo, all I really know about that is from anime, and well, even if he's on the Japanese, even if he is the actual Japanese pantheon, I don't know which part of anime. And no, I'm not talking about Naruto, okay? I'm talking about Record of Ragnarok here as well. He's not just a Naruto thing. So yeah, we have the Susanoo, who's of the Japanese pantheon. And last but not least, we have Shuk, who is of the Mayan pantheon. So the thing is, what's really cool about this is we don't get, especially in Marvel, when it comes to storm gods or gods of anything, it's always it's always a classic type of stuff. It's always like the Olympians, always the Norse. It's always like the ones that are always out there, the ones that everybody knows. Even like Egyptian or something. Like you got your very commonly portrayed in media ones. Maya, it does happen a little bit. So the fact that we're looking at Yoruba, Japanese, and Mayan, and I'm very happy about Australian. I'm very looking forward to see what we're going to do with that. I'm hoping to maybe even learn a little bit more about these particular gods and maybe some other parts of these individual pantheons. So what really happens next is definitely more of an action sequence. This is meant to get us pumped up. This is just the starting point. This isn't like the big climax of anything. This is just the starting point. This is to get us excited for Thunder Wars, and it is doing that. We are seeing how Storm really does utilize her powers. We're seeing her skill, and that's much more beneficial because last time, like I said with Red, it was always more power feats and show how powerful she was. This is showing her skill, her what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, her variety of abilities. Versatility. We're seeing her versatility as well as in a way confirmation about things that don't really get confirmed about her abilities. And in fact, this is finally the first time she actually casts a spell. She casts the same spell as Brother Voodoo used on her in the second issue with the giant whale. This time she used a giant octopus. I don't know if there's going to be anything meaning for that at this point, but never know. It might even just be a happy coincidence because the fact is, our other Storm, our lovely Sue Storm and her brother Johnny Storm, actually also did an octopus construct. I'm not calling Marewa a fan of Ryan North. Actually, I kind of am. I've actually talked to him about it. He is a bit of a fan. I don't think that's why he did it. But I'm also not saying it's not. I'm not in the guy's head. It's probably why I would do it. So, continuing off, like I said, it's dramatic, it's big, and it's fun, it's cool, and it is a massive setup issue. So it's really about this one was definitely about putting on Storm on display, showing her a couple of tricks, and maybe even iterating the fact there are some plot points here and there. This is definitely meant to hype us up, and you have to admit, it did work. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next. Because from the looks of things, I get the feeling that when it comes to the actual Thunder Wars, all the gods putting their fists, putting their dukes up, I get the feeling that's even going to go down with Thor. I don't know why. I feel like Thor's got enough problems. He's got the thing he's dealing with over in Miles' comic. Apparently, he's showing up in the end of the Incredible Hulk. And now he's here. He's got his own problems in his own book, being Jesus. Don't think I didn't notice that, Ewing. You think I didn't notice the fact you were using Executioner Simon as Cyrene? I grew up looking at the pattern. I grew up looking at the Stations of the Cross. You can't get that one by me. So Thor's just everywhere these days. So it looks like that Storm and Thor are going to be hashing it out a little bit. So who knows about that? So I don't know if Storm and Thor are going to duke it out. We still don't even understand why they're all fighting. What's going on with the Storm Gods? So yeah, this is a setup issue. This is a hype issue. This is the one that's supposed to get you to go get the next one. He's reiterating his plot points. He's reiterating his story. This is always like, sometimes these types of stories do feel a little bit like filler. I do get that. This one, 50-50. But that's not always a bad thing. He's really trying to make his story flow. And he's trying to make sure that everybody knows what's happening. The fact that these are a month by month issue scenario, sometimes it can actually get a little bit tricky to remember where the last story left off. You need sometimes a bit of a recap. So we know that Murray was in it for the long haul. We know that at least 30 issues, and we can still go for more. So he's not going to let us forget some of the important plot points. And I actually really do appreciate that, because like I've read a lot of comics where it feels like even in the writer's own story, he forgets his own plot points, and sometimes that's not even a feeling. Like I've actually had writers confirm, especially even was like this big. Sometimes it was these big moments, and they actually say, "Honestly, I actually kind of forgot about that." So I'm very fascinated where he's actually going to take this story, because I've said it before. Something that actually never really interested me about Storm was her mass level of power. I've always preferred grounded stories. But Reiwa has managed to find a bit of a balance between the idea of grounded and actually putting her on a higher level. And it's very fascinating to look at. Because the fact is, the idea of her growing, the idea of her using more skills rather than just throwing lightning, wind, or even just the use of air pressure, it it it's very it's very good to look at. It's really putting forward the fact that Storm is a very capable warrior. She's not just a mass powerhouse and has these one-shot moves. And not only that, she's now having to use these against, honestly, worthy foes. This is something that she doesn't usually get. See, I don't think, when it comes to me, with all the Storm books I've read, and when she actually goes a one-on-one with characters, or like she takes on really powerful characters or really capable characters, they're always very arrogant. Like Vulcan, Genesis. There was this one. There was Sol. No, it wasn't a solo. It was an X-Men story. But like for the longest time, every time it's Storm, she's focusing on the villain. It's someone incredibly arrogant, and that's always what leads to the downfall. These guys don't seem arrogant. They're gods, but they're capable warriors. These are guys with drive. These are guys with a reason. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that reason is. And it's good to see that Storm's now having to resort to her magic, because the fact is, her usual skills just aren't going to cut it anymore. We're seeing her grow and truly grow, expand her assets, her repertoire, all of this. It's not just about her saying a speech, then using a bigger bolt of lightning. And I'm really here for it. Because the fact is, when it comes to the Storm Wars, even with how powerful it is, I kind of getting the vibe that she might not even actually win. Because we need to understand what exactly is the bigger point here. So anyway, wrapping it up, it's clear that Morewa has his plans. He's got all these things he's going to do. And he's making sure that we remember each and every little piece of it. So when it comes to writing comics, there's no sense of certainty at the start anymore. So he had his first ones to set the story and see if that's worth keeping going. The fact he's been in the top 10 every time of the release of Storm definitely proved that this is a story worth keep going. So he manages to get the 30 issues. So now he can breathe a little easier, and he's allowed to set up his longer story, which means he has to remind us of the plot points that he's already set up, because he might not be focusing on that for a while. But the fact that that is still a conversation, especially because like the issue 1 conversation set up Storm Sanctuary, remembering that's there is very important, because there's going to be something bigger with the Storm Sanctuary. First, we need to get through the Thunder Wars. We need to see what happens here. We need to see why they're fighting. And then we're going to find out, we're going to see what's up with the Silver Surfer, see what's up with Galactus, then we're going to get to Oblivion. I don't know if Oblivion's going to be the final round. He could be the halfway point. So, he's in a very interesting position. I don't see this a lot with writers. We know where we're going. We know where we've been. But at the same time, we have no idea what's going on. It's like we know everything and nothing at the same time. He's a very interesting writer, and I'm really looking forward to the next issue. So, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you want to talk about any theories that you got, if you want to talk about just about the video itself or about the issue, please leave a comment. I love it when people leave comments. I love chatting with people. And so, once again, Bye.